Multiple new games are announced. We finally got a good look at the upcoming free Division game. We got a confusing Spider-Man 2 update and way more gaming news to go over. Timestamps in the video bar. Whether you're spending time in LA or the post-apocalyptic LA or doing something else, thanks for joining. And now let's look at the future because there's a new Harry Potter game coming and Joyce, you got some interesting info on it.
Yeah, that's right, Remember we were all a little disappointed with the absence of Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy? Like, there was a stadium, we could fly around it on our broom, but that was about it. Well, turns out it's getting its own complete standalone game. Out of nowhere, Warner Brothers Games announced Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, a fast-paced, competitive multiplayer game featuring the world's most iconic magical sport. It has been in development for several years now at Unbroken Studios, which are also lending a hand in developing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. According to the game's FAQ, players can create and customize their own Quidditch champions, and after doing so, choose from 4 player roles: Chaser, Beater, Keeper, and Seeker. Because it's a competitive and multiplayer experience, it does require an internet connection to play, and just like Hogwarts Legacy, Quidditch Champions is not a direct adaptation of the books and films. The art style looks very cartoonish like Hogwarts Mystery, the Harry Potter RPG on mobile, but with much sharper details and higher quality because this game will launch on PC and consoles. It might even be released on last gen, as the playtest that started April 21st had these platforms as an option, so it might also be launching sooner than we think. I for one am really curious about it. Sure, we had Quidditch gameplay in the previous movie adaptation games and more recently in Hogwarts Mystery, but the last true standalone Quidditch game, Quidditch World Cup, released 20 years ago and was a PlayStation 2 Xbox game. So this announcement comes as a pleasant surprise. We will definitely keep an eye out for more info on Quidditch Champions.
Yeah, I totally want to give it at least a try, but I wonder if this is why we did not see Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy, or if it at least had some sort of impact on that decision. And also if this means that we will now not see it in the future, because then you could see it as like competition, unless Hogwarts Legacy is of course only single player. Either way, let me know if this looks appealing to you and if you think this has any impact on Hogwarts Legacy, because I'm sure we will see more content for that game, but maybe Quidditch is now less likely. Speaking of spin-offs, we finally got a good look at Division Heartland, the upcoming free-to-play title that should launch later this year or early 2024. We got a closed beta coming soon, and a few things stood out. For one, they call it a survival action shooter, so a focus on survival. We have to drink water, for example, to survive the day, and use filters to be able to pass through contaminated areas for better loot. A nice twist is that instead of an urban environment, it now takes place in a small town in America called Silver Creek, but there are still AI enemies to fight that should get more dangerous during night, and there are also other players who can go rogue and turn against you. And I think it's interesting that Division is normally an RPG shooter, but they don't say RPG at all, and we all see that in the weapons and gear that they show. It still has stats, but way less, and it's also super understandable. So it will likely be more similar to Call of Duty instead of Division 2, where in that game your build was really everything, even if you were like a really bad player. There are 3 classes that have some abilities, like highlighting the loot in the area, for example, and I'm sure they will add more classes post-launch. And of all the free-to-play Ubisoft experiments, I always thought this had the biggest shot, because like the third-person Division gameplay is just really good, and it's pretty unique compared to the other things that are out there. There is some good buzz for X-Defiant as well, but I just see that like kind of lacking its identity in the shooter space. I played it, I think it's fun, but I think it will be an uphill battle. But still, after Hyperscape and Roller Champions, it seems like Ubisoft is trying to turn things around. Heartland has also been in close testing for a year now, so they already have a ton of player feedback. Like, they now know that they only get one first impression and the competition is killing, so they have to get it right out of the gate. So yeah, curious if you will try this Division free-to-play game. I will totally try it, but I think I'm mostly just curious if they can finally launch a successful free game. That's my approach mostly. Moving on to some quick shots, noteworthy news stories that I want to go over quickly, and if you enjoy these news roundup videos, by the way, then leaving a like really shows your support, and subscribe because I drop one of these every Sunday. Yes, we got a weird Spider-Man 2 update. Remember Tony Todd, the voice behind Venom, saying that the game was planned for September. We now also got Jason Schreier, who of course has been right many times, noting this as well. And in a very recent Q&A, Yuri Lowenthal, the voice actor behind Spider-Man, was asked if he was done with the motion capture for the game, and he said yup. all done. And that makes sense with the game coming out in a few months. But now on Twitter, when he was asked about this again, he said, no, we still have tons more to do, which is the complete opposite. So yeah, weird situation. We of course cannot know what's happening, but my take is that I think the game is getting ready and that his second comment on Twitter is either to make his previous statement confusing, because he was probably not allowed to say anything regarding that, or that his second comment is like broader, because the person is also asking, is he done like voicing Spider-Man? Obviously not. They got way more stuff planned, maybe even DLC for the second game that they're now working on. I'm curious to hear what you think. Insomniac now also once again confirmed fall 2023. I totally believe it's gonna happen, maybe later than September, although I think the September date is probably real. We will find out soon enough. What we do know for a fact is that Sony bought a new studio, Firewalk, who in 2021 announced that they were making an original AAA multiplayer game for PlayStation. So there was already a collaboration, but now they're a real Sony first-party studio. And it makes sense, like Sony is lacking a big exclusive multiplayer title, so getting new talent to hopefully create one of those is great. And this also means that the core studios can still really focus on single-player games as well. But yeah, a reminder that Sony still wants to launch 10 of those live service games by 2026, so we will likely hear about some of them very soon, including this one from Firewalk. They want some of that Battle Pass money, like I really think we're gonna see a lot of Fortnite art styles in the next Sony showcase, you are warned. Speaking of graphics, I really like the art style of Immortals of Aveum. We now got gameplay of this Unreal Engine 5 magic shooter. I'm getting a ton of Doom vibes from this footage. Now, as you might know, Dennis already got to see it early and shared a ton of details in our previous Sunday video, so if you haven't watched that yet and this gameplay looks appealing, then totally check it out. I will leave the details in the video description, and I will also leave a link to the full gameplay if you want to watch it in the video description. A new Monster Hunter game was announced, and now don't get too excited as it's a Pokemon Go clone called Monster Hunter Now, where we see a Rathalos terrorize the city and then we can decide to hunt it. Like, it's pretty crazy that these types of games are still being made, as many of them have already shut down, like Minecraft Earth. There was a Ghostbusters variant that is also no more. Also other games from the Pokemon Go creators like Catan and Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Like, all these games are offline now, so hard to see why a Monster Hunter variant will succeed. But still though, want to keep an open mind, like the graphics are great, and this might actually include some more engaging gameplay than tapping the screen like a maniac to attack the other Pokemon. Like, the social elements make sense as well, to come together to hunt a certain monster. You can even hunt in landscape modes. They're testing it April 28th with a planned launch for September. Maybe it's something that will like really blow up in Japan, where Monster Hunter is of course huge. Now let me know if you played any of these Go type games, and if you are interested in a Monster Hunter title like this, I might like boot it up once when going through the city. And they announced a new Diablo beta, the final one before the June 6th launch. It's happening May 12th till the 14th. This is what it includes. All the classes are available. Seems like it's just the same as the final weekend. Only now, if you defeat the world boss, you get a horse armor. We'll totally be covering the game here when it launches. Let me know if you're playing. But first we got Jedi Survivor. Like usually I talk about multiple things happening in the coming week, what you can expect here on the channel, but it's now just Jedi Survivor. So expect a ton of spoiler-free tips and tricks. I really can't wait. And of course there will be a Sunday video like this as well. And I really appreciate the support and feedback, by the way. Like, we're working hard to make this a weekly thing again with the help from Tom, who edits these videos so beautifully. But it's hard in game release weeks. Like, you just want to focus on delivering the tips, but I'm really trying to have this something you can look forward to every week. So all the love in the comments and streams, it's really nice to see. Thanks for that. So subscribe to not miss the next upload. A like would really help me out. And check out my Dead Island 2 review, by the way, for if you missed it, by clicking on the screen. I got some thoughts on the game. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.